Rotten Ralph feels rotten. Trash Can Gourmet. At dinner time, Sarah served Rotten Ralph a home-cooked meal. I want you to finish everything on your plate, she said. Rotten Ralph turned up his nose. His whiskers drooped. All these fruits and vegetables will finish me off, he said to himself. Just take one little bite, Sarah said, or I'll have to give you a spoonful of cod liver oil. Rotten Ralph sniffed his food. He crossed his eyes. He slid off his chair and hid under the table. Have you been sneaking cat treats into your room? Sarah asked. Ralph shook his head. He knew the best treats were not hidden in his room. Well, no dessert for you, said Sarah, and don't even think about raiding the refrigerator. Ralph didn't. He knew there was nothing good in there anyways. Sarah gave him a kiss goodnight. Ralph waited until she was sound asleep. Then he climbed out his window and snuck into the alley. Who needs a refrigerator, he thought, when I have all these trash cans? He rubbed his paws together. I wonder what is on the menu today. He lifted the lid and got busy. He started with some green chicken wing. Then he nibbled on some squishy squid. After that, he licked a furry fish. For dessert, he found a hunk of blue cheesecake. Then he washed it all down with a carton of chunky chocolate milk. I'm stuffed, Ralph groaned. He picked his teeth and burped so loudly that the dogs began to howl. Calm down, Ralph thought. I'm born to eat trash. He quietly climbed back through the window. He flopped down onto a soft bed. Nothing like going to sleep on a full belly, he said to himself. Sweet dreams to me. A belly full of trouble. That night, Ralph had a nightmare. He dreamed little rats with spears were jumping up and down on his belly. In the morning, he opened his eyes and Sarah was poking him awake. Ralph, she cried, you were moaning in your sleep. She mopped his sweaty brow. You look awful, she said. Gently, she rubbed his swollen belly. She checked his throat for a hairball. When he meowed, his breath smelled worse than rotten. Sarah saw the open window and a fish head on Ralph's pillow. She was suspicious. Have you been eating out of the trash cans again? She asked. Rotten Ralph nodded. He felt so sick. He knew he had to tell the truth. Maybe you need a big healthy breakfast, Sarah said. Don't talk about food, Ralph thought. He stuck his head out the window for some fresh air. I better get you to the vet, Sarah decided. You might have eaten something too rotten, even for you. Ralph remembered eating the green chicken and the squishy squid and the furry fish and the blue cheesecake and the chunky chocolate mug. Suddenly his stomach felt bad all over. It rumbled and roared. Ralph meowed miserably. Sarah ran and got a bucket just in case. Hurry up and get me to the vet, Ralph pleaded. I think I'm dying. Sarah made a little pillow bed for him in her red wagon. She got him all comfortable. Quickly, she pulled him down the street towards the vet office. All the way there, Ralph clutched his little spit-up bucket. Tummy toss. In the waiting room, Sarah propped Ralph up on a chair. He was so weak he didn't even play in the fish tank. He didn't hiss at the dogs or tie the snake in a knot. When it's our turn, Sarah said to him, I want you to be good and do everything the vet tells you to. The nurse called them in. What's the problem? The vet asked. I'm worried, said Sarah. Ralph's been eating out of the trash again. I'll give him some tests, said the vet. But Ralph was not in the mood for a test. The vet slipped a thermometer under Ralph's tongue. He spit it out. Ralph, said, the vet is only trying to help. Next, the vet checked Ralph's reflexes. He hit him on the knee with a rubber hammer, and Ralph kicked the vet off his stool. Behave, said Sarah, or you'll just feel worse. When the vet went to check his ears, Ralph jammed his paw into them. "Ralph," said Sarah, "you need to settle down." "I can't hear you," Ralph said to himself. The vet tried to listen to Ralph's heart with a stethoscope, but Ralph just burped out loud. "Ugh," said the vet. "Now that's rotten," said Sarah. "I've got just the medicine he needs," said the vet. "Hold him down." And they did. The medicine didn't take long to work. Ralph threw up the green chicken and the squishy squid, the furry fish and the blue cheesecake and the chunky chocolate milk. Soon Ralph felt like his old self again. "I'm better," he thought, rubbing his empty belly. "No more tests for me." He jumped up and started to have some fun. But the vet wasn't through yet. "He's acting strangely," the vet said. "We'll have to hold him overnight for observation." The nurse carried him away. "Don't let them take me," Ralph cried. But there's nothing Sarah could do. Homesick. Being away from Sarah was worse than being sick. There was no one to fix him a nice snack. There was no one to tuck him in with a good book. There was just him and a bunch of sick puppies. When the lights were turned down, Ralph knew what he had to do. He knocked off his covers and climbed out the window. He walked through the alley. There were plenty of fresh pickings in the trash can, but he didn't eat any. He took a deep breath and held his nose all the way home. He sneaked back into the house. He knew what he wanted, something healthy. When Sarah woke up, she heard a noise in the kitchen. "Ralph, I'm so glad they let you come home early," Sarah said. "Me too, Ralph." Then Sarah gave him a hug. "No more trash for you, Ralph." "Nothing like home cooking," he said to himself, and curled up on Sarah's lap. The end.